Toxic geeks where the phantoms collide. Breaking down the best, taking you for a ride. Tune in, geek out, it's the place to be. Top 10 vibes on the screen, you and me.
Welcome everyone to TalkingsToGeeks.com. Justin here, back with another 10 video, and today we're going to be talking about my 10 favorite video games of 2024. Now, before I begin this video, I just want to stress this because I know there's going to be that one anomaly in the comment section saying, "You didn't put this game on there. How's this game not make your list?" These games that are featured on this particular list are games that I purchased or was blessed with a review copy code for, and I could not put it down. These are my favorite games of 2024. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, doesn't mean it's the best reviewed game, doesn't mean that it was a game that was nominated for the Game Awards. These are just some of my favorite games, and I also invite you to list your favorite games in the comment section below. So now that I got that out the way, let's check out my list. So let's kick it off with number 10. Number 10, Nobody Wants to Die. This is such an underrated game, and I wish it got the praise that it deserves. This is a fun noir cyberpunk tale, and if you're into noir stories, detective stories, definitely pick up Nobody Wants to Die. This is a fantastic tale as you follow Detective James Kara as he takes off the book case from his chief with only the help of a young police liaison, Sarah, to assist him. The time reveals all as they risk everything in the pursuit of a killer, uncovering the dark secrets of the city's elite. I'm a little biased because I'm a New Yorker, and this game takes place in New York 2329, and it is a gorgeous looking cyberpunk game. Great voice acting, some really amazing soundtracks here that really captures that noir feel. It does have a little bit of a twist and turn here with some multiple endings, and it just is a satisfying experience. Definitely one of my favorites of 2024. Now let's hit into number 9. Number 9, Minds Beneath Us. I love this game. Another hidden gem, and this one you can pick up on Steam. It's out for the PC. And why did I choose Minds Beneath Us? It is another narrative-driven game, and no, it won't be the last narrative-driven game on here. But what I loved about Minds Beneath Us is not only that it has a beautiful cyberpunk setting, but it has these themes, and the story's themes really hammer home the thought of free will and artificial intelligence, and how the protagonist struggles to reclaim lost memories and dealing with a lot of moral dilemmas. And there's a lot of decisions in this game that really just affect the relationships that you have, affect the outcome of the story, and just gorgeous looking game as well. The developers really put their all into just the visuals of it. The soundtrack is beautiful. Gameplay is a point and click, and of course, it has very dialogue heavy, so your choices do determine the outcome and path that you take. If you have not checked out Minds Beneath Us, if you have a Steam account, PC, check this game out. It is gorgeous. You won't be disappointed. That was number 9. Now let's head in to number 8. Number 8 is truthfully the game I play the most, and for good reason, because we have a weekly shameless plug YouTube show that we do here on the channel, WWE 2K. So we have our own YouTube WWE Universe mode, which is called UWL. You can check out the playlist on the channel. Shameless plug once again. But WWE 2K24 is such a major improvement. One of my favorite entries so far in the 20s editions. And I really love this game because we got the return of match types that we have been waiting for a very long time, such as the casket match, ambulance match, gauntlet matches are back. The gameplay has improved a lot more, a little bit more refined presentation, graphics. Universe mode still needs a little work. It still needs a lot of work, I should say. And there's still those bugs that have just been plaguing it since as long as I can remember. So hopefully 2K25 will address certain issues, but this is in the right direction, of course, from a presentation, gameplay, aesthetics, all of it. Creation suite, as you can see just from our UWO clips here that we're using for this particular entry. It is one of the most definitive wrestling games in recent memory. So I will highly recommend WWE 2K24, and it's number 8 on this list. Now let's go into number 7. Number 7, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for the Nintendo Switch. And I had to put this on, folks. This is one of my favorite games of the year for the Switch, and it did not disappoint. Zelda finally gets her solo entry, and the story goes like this. Zelda was captured by Ganon, but Link came in to rescue her. But after the battle, it appeared that Link had defeated the villain, but he was suddenly dragged down into a mysterious rift into the ground and he disappeared. Now, these rifts are appearing all across the land of Hyrule, swallowing up everybody, including the king of Hyrule, and it's up to Zelda to save the day. And if you are a fan of Breath of the Wild, fan of Tears of the Kingdom, it does have those elements in terms of how you're able to approach things, how you're able to approach puzzles. There are multiple ways that you can get around, multiple ways to defeat enemies, and multiple ways to solve puzzles. So it's up to your imagination and your ability to take enemies' abilities and mimic it and have things to really kind to address the obstacles that you face was just a huge sell point for me. Beautiful graphics, by the way, as well. Fun story. Highlight, I will say, definitely one of the best Switch games of the year. And this was at number 7. Now let's get into number 6. Number 6, Metaphor Refantasio, and this is a beautiful chef's kiss type of an RPG, JRPG. Atlas once again knocks it out of the park from the creators of Persona, and this is just a beautiful, vibrant world with a lot of political intrigue, and there is a whole bunch of depth to this game, which I'm not going to spoil here. Graphically, it has the same aesthetics and same look of graphical feel that you see in modern day Persona games and Atlas games. Gameplay wise, it's turn based combat with some elements that you might scream Persona. And yes, some people might say, hey, this is just Persona gameplay with an original story that's not in the Persona universe. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. This is a hell of a game. The best JRPG game of the year. It is number 6 for me. But there is another JRPG that is on this list, and because of biasness, it's a little bit down on the list. So we are gonna go into that game at number 5. Number 5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I know you're shocked. Justin, your favorite game. I know what some of you are thinking. Justin, isn't your favorite game of all time Final Fantasy VII the original? Yes, you are right, my friends. But if you also know me, then you know I have a love-hate relationship for this remake universe. And that's mainly because of the story liberties that we're taking in this universe. I literally just wanted a copy and paste of the original game with updated graphics and voice acting, and we didn't get that. So yes, my love and hate relationship. Yes, excuse my bias, but that's just how I feel. Anyway, it's still one of my favorite games of 2024, and that is just because it's still a gorgeous game to look at. It's still a gorgeous game to play. Yes, they did change a little bit of the story here, and it's disappointing that certain characters such as Sid and Vincent are not playable, but it is still does respect the original Final Fantasy VII, and for that, I still play it. I still enjoy it. I still have fun with it. The gameplay is as solid as ever, and it's just a really good game to have in your collection. Definitely one of the best games. It was also nominated for Game of the Year this year. For those who give a damn about the Video Game Awards, spoiler, I do not. But it was nominated for Game of the Year for that particular award show. And it rightfully does deserve that because it did take the elements of Final Fantasy VII Remake and just expand it into this beautiful open world JRPG that we know and love. So, number 5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And we're not done with remakes. So, let's go in to number 4. Number 4, Silent Hill 2 Remake. Konami brings this classic back to life in a unexpected, because a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people were nervous. They didn't think that Konami could pull it off. A lot of people were really doubtful that this was going to be a stellar remake of the classic story of James and his journey into Silent Hill. and they nailed it out of the park with some beautiful visuals, amazing voice acting, using Unreal Engine 5 that really gives the town an unsettling beauty with realistic fog and lighting and some really grotesque creature designs that we all know and love. Enhanced controls, some really switch-arounds when it comes to the puzzles. It does a wonderful job of a modern take of a horror classic. And of course, the soundtrack is still amazing. If you are a Silent Hill fan, excuse me, if you are a Silent Hill fan, you need to pick this up if you haven't already. If you are a horror fan, this might be the best horror game of the year. I stand by that, especially I would say psychological horror game of the year. We had a whole lot of good horror games this year, but from a psychological standpoint, can we really top the king of psychological horror? Silent Hill 2 Remake, number 4. Let's get into number 3. Number 3, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Oh my god, I love this game. This game was absolutely amazing. If you love those throwback PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, third person type of shooters with the duck and cover and brutal melee combat with a whole bunch of horde of enemies. Not just that, the gameplay was solid, but it has a really good story as well as Lieutenant Titus, as he gets a lot more characterization here, and especially with the camaraderie with his squad and his crew. It is a experience, and not to mention the beautiful visuals, stellar soundtrack, amazing voice acting. I played this game to death, still play it to this day. Had so much fun with it. About to actually get the DLC packs as well. I love Warhammer, and this is actually my first Warhammer game, and now I'm just hooked. I am going to be going back into the archives and playing other Warhammer games to really understand a lot of the lore. I'm actually going to get Space Marine 1 on my PC so I could really just play back to back 1 and 2 just to really immerse myself in this beautiful story with wonderful gameplay and graphics. Well deserved at number 3, but there are two more games that I say hit me a little bit more harder. So let's go into number 2. Number 2, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. And man, I love this game. One of my most anticipated games this year, and it damn sure delivered. Love this game, and just the way they were able to just add a lot more to the Budokai series with this, and having the ability to kind of create our own storylines here. It's a little rough around the edges. I wish you would be able to type in certain scenarios and things so your story could be a little bit more cohesive with it. But the way they were able to do the gameplay, the graphics, the aesthetics, it is a beautiful game with a lot of content, a lot of things, so many characters from Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT. So you get a whole bunch of generation of DBZ characters and Dragon Ball characters, Super characters, GB characters, GT characters in here, and it is a phenomenal game. Brilliantly voice acted, wonderful music, especially if you buy the anime music pack, so you can really feel that Dragon Ball aesthetic with it. Definitely check this one out, folks. One of my favorite games of the year, a well-deserved spot. I play this game religiously. It's one of the fighting games that's taking the majority of my playtime. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, number 2. Now let's go into the shocker, which is my favorite game of the year, number 1. Number 1, Until Then. There is no game in 2024 that left me in such a state of shock. No game in 2024 where the story just hit me on an emotional level. No game in 2024 where I will scream to the heavens and below to tell everybody to pick up this game. You must experience this game. It is just that damn good. Just a beautiful, wonderful coming of age story with some realistic, serious topics in this. And it's a narrative game. Yes, you might see this as a visual novel, and but what Until Then does, it takes the story of Mark and his friends, and they tell such a beautiful coming of age story with such a dark ending and kind of bleak ending. And I won't spoil it, of course, but you have to play the game, and when the ending hits you and when the big moments hit you, you're not going to be prepared for it. I still talk about this ending. I still talk about this game to this day. Not to mention the beautiful graphics, the 2D pixelated art, the fact that we get such a wonderful camera shots in this. They really took a cinematic approach, thematic approach to this game. And this is one of the few games, and there's not many of them, that literally almost had me in tears just because of the emotional weight. Hands down, the best story, in my opinion, of 2024. Until then, is my favorite game of the year. Complete shocker. And I didn't even expect it to be that good. I thought it was going to be like a game with some really good graphics and a decent story, but no. This story is a classic. This story is moving. This story is going to hit you once you play it. It has some really good music as well. I can't stress this enough. If you want an experience, a different type of story, pick up until then. This is Justin from AttackOfTheGeeks.com. We're going to wrap up this episode of 10. What was your favorite game of the year? It doesn't have to be the best game, doesn't have to be a nominated game, but what game did you play this year that you absolutely adored and is your favorite above all? For me, it's Until Then. And comment below, let me know what did you think of my choices, and let's discuss it in the comment section. And hopefully we earned your subscription. So if we did, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell and the like button as well. I will be back with more top 10 very soon. And thank you for joining us here at TacoSgeeks.com. This is Justin saying later days, peace, love, and happiness to you all.